Hello everyone. I was noticing some people needed extra help on this worksheet, so I wanted to go ahead and I will complete the evens on some of these, and then that way you can go and do the odds on your own. All right, so make sure you read the directions. It says determine if the two triangles are congruent. If they are congruent, state the theorem used to prove it. So sometimes there's not enough information there available to determine if it's congruent. So it is possible that you might have to put not enough information. All right, so on number 2, you'll notice we're talking about if you can try and imagine these triangles being separate. So this one on top of the other one. Then hopefully you realize that this side on one triangle is congruent to the other side. So the first thing you want to do, and you can either use the text box or you could draw on here. I kind of like drawing. But I know, and I'm going to use a little single line. Ooh, that's way too big. Let me try that again. All right, so we're going to go ahead, drawing, change this to 1. Maybe that'll be better. All right, and then we're going to just put a little mark here because I know this side is congruent to this side. And remember, that's the reflexive property. And so we know that this side, this angle, and this side is congruent. So this would be congruent by side, angle, side. So you got to look if there's any of those properties or theorems that we talked about today in class that you can apply your knowledge and then reevaluate those triangles. So side, angle, side, side, angle, side. All right, and so that one's kind of the same thing. So let's go ahead and look at number 6 because that one is a little different. And so I know that this angle is congruent to this angle. Remember, those were called vertical angles. And so now we can kind of look and see. All right, so we have a side, angle, angle, or they usually write it angle, angle, side. So this is congruent from angle, angle, side. So angle, angle, side. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to stuff like 11, 12, and so on. And so it says, what additional information is required in order to know that the triangles are congruent for the reason given? So we're going to take number 12, and we need to prove these triangles are congruent by angle, side, angle. And there's a lot of different responses you can put here. And so there's not necessarily just one correct answers. There are a couple. And so the first thing I want to do is first, I'm going to put a little mark here because we know this side is congruent to this side. So that's the reflexive property. And so we got to use that. And then we want to do angle, side, angle. So we already know these angles are congruent. And we know that this side is congruent. So it has to be this angle as well so that this side is between the two angles. So angle, side, angle. And so if that is congruent, we need to make sure this is angle, side, angle. This one also has to be congruent. And so here's how you're going to write that. We need to state that this angle right here is congruent to this one. So here's how you're going to write it. You're going to write angle LKM, LKM. So I know that looks like two angles, but this is a angle and this is the letter L. Maybe I should put it in different order. All right, so we're going to do angle. We're going to go backwards so that the L and the angle is not next to each other. So we're going to do MKL. L, so angle MKL, is congruent, they have to be congruent to angle VLK. And there's a lot of different ways. So you could have this backwards where you say angle LKM and then is congruent to angle KLV. So you could write these backwards if you'd like. And that's the another information that you need to know to prove this angle side angle. All right, let's go ahead. That one's pretty easy. Let's take a look at this one. Is that a vertical angle? No, that one's just regular. It says loading, isn't it? Let me go all the way down. No, I think that's it. All right, so let's do one more like this. So we know we need to prove these triangles are congruent by side, side, side. So that means we need all of the sides the same. So I'm going to go ahead and mark on the triangle what needs to be congruent. So this side is already congruent to this one. This side is already congruent to this one. So we know this side has to be congruent to this side in order to be side, side, side. So how to write that is you're going to go ahead, move over, doesn't want to, okay. So you're going to go ahead and say PR, and remember you put a line over it so you know that it's that segment from P to R is going to be congruent, and so P is the same as X. And how do you know that? Because it's between the red and the blue lines, the red and the blue lines. So it has to be X first and then your Z, and put a line on top of it so that you know it's a line segment from X to Z. So hopefully after watching this video, it helps you a little bit on what I expect you to do on this worksheet. And thanks for watching.